diagnosed with ADHD, all my friends are like, yeah, you have it, bitch. What do you mean? And I was like, thanks for telling me. I was like, guys, I took a test. My neurologist said I have ADHD and autism. And they were like, yeah, we know. Even your friend, we know. Is it that obvious, guys?
Yes.
Chat, is it that obvious? As people who don't know me? Chat, as people that do not know me, is it all, did you know? No, I had no idea. It's obvious as balls. How obvious are your balls? I joined for the first time today. It's obvious. Oh my God. Wait, the autism part is a bit surprising. The ADHD part is obvious. Oh, okay. Can I share lore from my past? Nah, okay, one Twitch chat said no, so you guys don't get the lore jump. Is it spicy? It's neurospicy. All right, so when I was little, I went to, this is gonna be big lore drop, guys, you're not ready to. I went to a school. I know. I went to school. I know it's hard to believe. Chappy diagnosing women again? Okay, so I went to a school, right? And I was really smart. Just a little bit of a flex, dude. Like for a 5th grader, I'm like so smart. This was before 5th grade. I don't know why I said 5th grader. I'm like so fucking smart. Anyway, so I was so smart. So I figured out the lesson plan before we did, and I did all the answers. So I would get really bored and fidget, and I would play with shit in class, just be an absolute fucking nuisance to the teachers. Like I would just be the worst student ever. They'd be like trying to teach like kids like, what's 3 + 5? I'd be like 8. Actually, no, I'd probably be like, it's 10. No, wait, it's 9. No, it's 8. Final answer. And then like, you know, they'd be like a written test, which is like, oh, do all these questions. So I'd be like, easy, done, easy, peasy, done. I'm done with the test. I'm bored. I demand attention. And I'd just be like rocking in my chair, throwing shit. I would just be the worst. I don't think this surprises anyone, right? So my teachers went out. I think they were a little rude in the way they did this. I know their heart was in the right place. My teachers went up to my parents and they were just like, hey, your little brat probably has ADHD. You need to put this shit on Ritalin right now. Go get her tested. Go get a test. She's disrupting my class. And my parent, of course, old school, old-fashioned parents. You know, these parents straight from the 1890s, these guys, right? So they were just like, nuh-uh, my kid doesn't have ADHD. My daughter's smart. My kid doesn't have any ADHD. She's so smart when she's at home. She figures shit out. She's smarter than we are. She doesn't have ADHD. She's smart. So my teacher was like, get this girl test for ADHD. So my parents, probably more my father in their infinite wisdom, was just like, okay, we're going to take you to a special lab to get an IQ test. So I went and I got a really high IQ score because IQ tests are kind of easy. And so my parents went to the teacher and said, look what she scored on her IQ test. She doesn't have ADHD. She's smart. So what IQ has to do with ADHD as an adult, you know, you're telling me I have no fucking idea, but that's the story. My parents were so offended that there was something possibly wrong with their daughter that they took me to get an IQ test. As a kid, I was just like, oh no, there was, you know, like my parents were just like, you don't have ADHD. There's nothing wrong with you. You don't have ADHD. You're just smart like the other kids. You don't have ADHD. You're smarter than the other kids, which is why you do everything and you get bored. And I was like, okay, all right, teacher evil. I don't have ADHD. I'm good and cured. And then I got the IQ test. I was just like, I'm smart. And listen, if you are like an 8-year-old child and you score really high on a IQ test, and that's the only thing your parents praised you, that's not true. I'm exaggerating. You're not gonna live it down. You know what I mean? Like I was riding that I'm so super smart high for a long time. Aren't IQ tests pricey? I don't think so. Maybe. I don't know. I grew up poor. My parents always made it work. I don't understand how they did, but they did. It's so funny that your parents thought ADHD and IQ are mutually exclusive. Yeah, that's the funniest part. It's like, oh, child has ADHD. What should we do? Get an IQ test. This disproves the ADHD. If I don't know an ADHD test, the teacher's telling me my kids need medicine, I think I'm accusing my kids of being stupid. That's fair, Ludicrous. That's probably what happened. Again, I don't think it was malicious. I don't think the teachers were malicious. You know, that was, you know, you put the kid on the drug. I got psychoeducational assignment, which was half IQ test, half ADHD, and cost me $2,000 I am so sorry. I gotta ask my mom how much the IQ test cost. I will send her a message right now. Hello, mother. I don't know why I said that so angrily. Do you happen to recall the IQ test that I took as a adolescent at that facility. Do you recall, perchance, the amount of currency required to undertake such an assignment? I have been bitten by a bug of curiosity. Boom, sent. Okay. Stop mentioning your big sweaty thighs. I can't focus. What? These big sweaty thighs? Does that even come out on the mic? I'm slapping my thighs. Ah! Wait, I have an update from my mother, which actually is gonna shake up my whole foundation of being. You guys ever get like a random update from your parents in like a sentence they said nonchalantly and that like changes your whole worldview? Oh my God. So, do you guys remember the story I just told you? It was a lie. So I know what you guys are asking. How much did this thing cost? It didn't cost anything. And I'm just like, mother, dearest, how does it not cost anything? Because the Department of Education paid for it. Why would the Department of Education pay for it? Because they, the school, who thought I was too much at ADHD, paid for me to have an IQ test. It wasn't my parents who were the idiots, it was the fucking school. My mom said the school could not handle you and wanted to put you on drugs. So they paid for the IQ test to prove I was stupid to put me on drugs. And then I scored really well on the IQ test. The school paid for me to flex on them and to mog them. Oh my God. So there was a social worker at the school that set up the whole test to get me to get me rated as low IQ and low ADHD to put me on medication. School funded self-glazing. Yeah! ADHD must be a knuckle dragger. Oh, dude. You were a menace to the government from a young age? I was! Oh my God, this is so like me coded. This is so awesome. So, the therapist, I don't know, the therapist didn't think you had it. He said you were intelligent and the teacher was an idiot. Mocked him as a child, bro! They can't step to this, dude! Oh my God, dude. I'm a beast. And then I was a menace to every teacher I've ever had since then.